Okay, I think we're ready to get started. Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. My name is Diana Contreras. I am the Director of Communications and Resource Development for United Way, Fresno, and Madera counties. On behalf of all of our partners, I want to welcome you to this exciting celebration as we officially launch free high-speed fiber broadband internet for the residents of Sequoia Courts and Sequoia Court Terrace. Over 350 residents will now have access to reliable internet service right here where they live. As we know, access to broadband is not just a luxury, it is essential for education, employment, healthcare, staying connected to loved ones, and accessing community resources. Thank you to everyone who helped make this vision a reality and to the families for allowing us here in your home today and celebrate this achievement with you. To begin our program, it is my honor to introduce a champion for Fresno neighborhoods and the representative of District 3 on the Fresno City Council, Councilmember Miguel Arias.
Given today's heat, I'm going to keep it very short and simple. Just want to express my appreciation for all the partners today that made this a reality. In this day and age where inflation is killing most of us, gas prices is hurting everyone, and the rent at times continues to go up year over year, especially the bill for their groceries. It's important that we find little moments and spaces to provide residents some relief. And internet cost is part of that relief. So it's essential, as they indicated, not only for work, but essential for schools. Many school districts, including Fresno Unified, is providing kids one-on-one laptops to take home and a lot of online homework. And as a kid of 2 Fresno Unified kids, I can attest to a lot of iReady lessons. In my view, one too many, but yet those are critical for getting good grades and passing on to the next stage of life. So thank you to United Way, Housing Authority, and everyone else who's involved in making sure that our residents in West Fresno have access to free, high-speed internet. Congratulations to everyone.
Thank you, Councilmember Arias. And although he couldn't make it, we do have a representative here from Assemblymember Dr. Joaquin Arambula's office, who has always been very verbal with his support of digital equity. So there is a certificate that I'd like to present to Fresno Housing in recognition to today's ribbon-cutting ceremony celebrating the launch of high-speed internet at Sequoia Courts and Sequoia Courts Terrace. Congratulations. As mentioned, this project was made possible through the collaboration of several dedicated nonprofits. So we are going to invite those leaders up here today to share a few remarks. First, help me welcome Tyrone Williams, Chief Executive Officer at Fresno Housing.
Well, as I always say, it's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. And I am just so happy that you've joined us to celebrate this important milestone for residents of Sequoia Courts and Sequoia Courts Terrace. Today we're celebrating the launch of free, that's the key right there, free high-speed internet access for more than 350 residents living in this community. So at Fresno Housing, we believe that housing is the foundation for opportunity in today's world. To access internet is an essential part of the opportunity. It helps students succeed in schools, it connects families to healthcare and community resources, and it provides access to employment, training, and economic opportunity. For more than 160 school children living here, this investment means greater access to those tools that they need to learn and succeed. For families, it means staying connected to the services, information, and opportunities that can help them improve the quality of their lives. So this project is a powerful example of what can happen when organizations come together around a shared goal. And I want to thank our partners at Fresno Housing Coalition for Digital Inclusion, the United Way, Fresno and Madera counties, and the Central Valley Community Foundation for their collaborative and a commitment to expanding digital access in our community. But mostly, I want to thank the residents of Sequoia Courts and Sequoia Courts Terrace. This investment was made for you and for your families, and we are excited to see the opportunities that it will create for years to come. At Fresno Housing, our mission is to create and sustain affordable housing and vibrant communities throughout Fresno County. So today's celebration reflects that commitment, not only providing housing, but helping ensure residents have the tools they need to thrive. So I want to just acknowledge our Fresno Housing staff. If you are a member of our Fresno Housing team, could you just raise your hand? I know some of you are sitting, some are standing. Well, raise your hand, please. Because we have a phenomenal team at Fresno Housing who are committed to our mission and our residents. So thank you for all of your hard work. And thank you to everyone here. Congratulations to everyone who helped make this project possible. Thank you.
Thank you, Tyrone. Next, please welcome Artie Padilla, Director of Drive at Central Valley Community Foundation.
Thank you. I remember one of the first meetings when we were talking about this possible project, and I just appreciated the collaborative conversation when you had a United Way and Kevin with representing the State Center and the coalition and Fresno Housing, and just appreciated the fact that institutions were having a conversation about how can we benefit the community, right? And now it's happening. So I love seeing the families out there. I drive down Whitesbridge every day when I go home. I live in the west side over here. So I'm really thankful that this location was picked. Leading up Drive, this is one of our neighborhoods that we put a focus on, the Columbia neighborhood. And with S2J2, where the funding came from in the state or part of it, it really is a great blend for us to have our initiatives play a backbone role to support these amazing institutions. And I just think, and when you have elected officials like Councilmember Arias and Dr. Arambula that are supporting the work, that's the perfect ingredient. So I asked myself, why can't this happen more often? Like, this is a good example. Let's take this playbook and let's duplicate it for other communities. So I was just pleased to be a part of the work and just really proud of my partners. Thank you.
Thank you, Artie. Please help me welcome up next Stephanie Nathan, who's also my president and CEO at United Way, Fresno and Madera counties.
Good morning. Thank you. I've been at United Way for just over a year and a half, but a few years ago, prior to my time at United Way, we had the privilege of serving as the lead applicant for the California Jobs First initiative. This is an initiative that most of us refer to as SURF. And SURF really represented a historic investment in our region, $10 million, focused on economic prosperity. But I think what made this initiative particularly special was the collaborative nature that Artie, you just alluded to. Many organizations came together, workforce organizations, housing, economic development organizations, and community-based organizations around a shared understanding. And that was that if we want people to thrive, we must address the barriers that prevent them from fully participating in our economy. And digital equity and digital inclusion was identified as one of those barriers. And through SURF, United Way and partners invested more than $1 million in digital infrastructure projects. One of these was this project. At United Way, we know that many families in our community, they're struggling to meet the basic needs. This was talked about earlier. Through our 2-on-1 call center, where we receive over 40,000 calls a year, we get requests on a daily basis for food, shelter, utility support, and families are often choosing between groceries, utilities or transportation, medicine or childcare. For a family already forced with making those very difficult choices between groceries and rent, keeping the lights on, the $50 a month savings in internet access can make a very meaningful difference. But beyond the financial savings, it's the things we've already heard the speakers talk about. It's how students access their homework. It's how a parent applies for a job. It's how a person requests a loan through their bank. It's how a person accesses a job application, workforce training, and many of just the basic community resources we know our residents need. In particular, we know that Black and Hispanic households have the lowest rates of access to computers and broadband access. And in this increasingly digital world, where we have digital solutions, more people are at risk of being excluded from systems that support health. And if internet is the gateway to the world, then the lack of that digital infrastructure is the modern day red line, separating the haves from the have-nots and reinforcing those inequities. That's why I think today is so important and such a happy occasion, because this ribbon cutting represents more than just broadband. It's about removing a barrier that impacts education, employment, health, and economic mobility. I also think it's a special reminder of something that you said, Artie, that when we come together and we chip away at one inequity, we help chip away at many others. So it's a reminder that meaningful systems change happens when we come around a shared vision and we work together. I want to thank the Fresno Housing Authority, Tyrone, and your team, the Fresno Coalition for Digital Inclusion, our elected leaders, and of course the residents who will be impacted by this investment. I also want to thank the United Way board. I'm here with my board chair, Yvonne, and the team at United Way, particularly Kevin James, who helped lead this effort and champion the vision behind this work. And I also want to make sure I acknowledge the prior team at United Way, including the prior CEO, Lindsay Fox, and the team that had the foresight to see digital equity not as a standalone issue, but as a critical component of economic mobility and community prosperity. So once again, I want to say thank you, and we're happy to be part of this, and I hope the residents enjoy access to this free internet.
Thank you, Stephanie. And finally, please welcome Kevin Miller, President of the Fresno Coalition for Digital Inclusion.
Hi, thank you. You know, what a long journey it was to get this project completed, and for us to be here today to celebrate. As already mentioned, you know, we started talking about this in December of 22. CVCF brought a number of partners together to start brainstorming how we could move the needle on broadband access through a SURF grant. Some of the early ideas were pretty audacious. Could we maybe buy a satellite and build a free Starlink for Fresno? Well, that was a little out of budget. You know, and so we started working with Fresno Housing and free Wi-Fi with Fresno Housing. Totally a winning idea. Augmenting those SURF dollars with additional monies that we got through a grant from the CPUC allowed us to serve this entire community of over 130 households and its 350 residents. Although we knew this project was going to be hard, it continually surprised the team. But we're here now, the project is done, and residents are now using the network. It's saving them up to $80 a month. That's almost $1,000 a year. So what did we learn? Well, for one, a lot of public housing in the Central Valley looks a lot like this. 17 acres, 70 buildings. We've got 3 public road crossings we had to navigate. That's extremely expensive to build a network in. And it requires a lot of planning, engineering, and permitting. Grants only pay for the construction costs. They don't pay for any of those pre-construction work. So most of that was absorbed by the team, by the Fresno Coalition for Digital Inclusion team, by the technology staff at Fresno Housing, in order to get this done. We've already started using the lessons we've learned with this project to educate regulators, legislative offices, and advocates on the reforms that will be needed to scale this success to communities throughout the region. We need the grant programs to cover planning activities. Grants need to allow for more time to complete those complex planning. And there's so many other tweaks that we need to do that will have huge impacts. We know, as already mentioned, we need to replicate this project 10 more times in West Fresno, dozens more times in Fresno County, and even more in the region. The work ahead is going to be hard, but we'll continue to tell the story here about Sequoia courts in Sacramento and throughout the state. And with your help, we're going to get it done. That's the work. Broadband equity for all. Thank you.
All right, at this time, we invite you to join us for the ribbon cutting ceremony that's going to happen right behind here. We ask that you gather around, and we would really love if a adult resident, because the scissors are heavy, to cut the ribbon. So if anyone would like to do that, please come up. We have Christine here that's going to have the ribbon and the scissors. We invite all of our leaders and guests and our guest speakers here to stand behind the ribbon and join us for this photo opportunity. Following the ribbon cutting, we do have additional resources here for you today. We have free food for you all here by Tacos Miguelito, so please enjoy. We also have several other organizations that joined us here. We have Fresno Housing and Beyond Housing in the building behind me. There's free books there for the children. United Way that has backpacks for children while supplies last. You can also sign up to the Dolly Parton Imagination Library over with Jesus at the blue table. We have Visión y Compromiso here with information on emergency preparedness, CWA apprenticeship, and FIRM back there. So please stop by, say hi to all of the resources, learn more today, and we are ready for a ribbon cutting ceremony. Thank you.
One on one side, one on the other. We switch. Yeah. Heads clipping.
The COVID-19 pandemic highlighted the importance of digital equity and accelerated efforts to expand access. Yet many barriers remain. From your perspective, what work still needs to be prioritized to ensure every resident in the Central Valley has access to the digital world?
Yeah. I think the COVID-19 pandemic really highlighted the inequities that were already there, right? Inequities in healthcare access, banking access, economic prosperity. And we know that digital access is really the gateway to many of those other pieces. So I think we still need to continue to do projects like we see here today, providing infrastructure for residents to have free access, making sure that residents understand how to use the tools that already exist. So I think digital literacy is important. But I really think what we need to focus on, if I could say one thing, is those structural components. Like, is the internet able to be accessed? Is it free? And is it readily available to every resident?
Thank you so much. Why do you feel it's a priority for organizations like yours to address the digital divide in the Central Valley?
Yeah. So I think I start with the mission of United Way, and our mission is really to create pathways to prosperity, focusing on financial stability, education, and overall well-being. And we see digital literacy, digital inclusion as cross-cutting across all of those things. So if you do not have digital inclusion, you cannot really access the job market nowadays. You cannot do your homework and access college applications, access banking. And so we feel like it's a critical component of getting people to a place of economic stability and ultimately prosperity.
All right, thank you so much. Last question. We often see systems create barriers to access, affordability, and education across multiple sectors. How do efforts to address affordable internet access help chip away at broader inequities in the Central Valley? I think you kind of spoke to this already.
Yeah.
But
So I think that I see, again, digital access and digital inclusion as like the tip of the iceberg. It's a gateway to other systems and other structural barriers. It is a structural barrier, and there is a race-based component because we know that Hispanic and Black families have less access than others. And so when we chip away at this barrier, it helps chip away at barriers to things like job access, banking access, education. So those things that many speakers have spoke about earlier today.
all right, thanks so much. The project represents an important investment in broadband infrastructure for low-income residents in Fresno. Can you walk us through your organization's part of the project and what it took to bring it from concept to reality?
Well, at Fresno Housing, flexibility is the name of the game. And so everyone knows that we provide quality housing, that we look for services to connect our residents. But this was totally different. It involved our IT staff becoming internet installation experts. So there was a great deal of learning and preparation on behalf of our team to really, one, understand how the complexities of providing the cabling and the connections, and then making sure that our residents were aware of the opportunity and are getting connected. And all of that has happened and is happening, not only here, but in all of the developments where we're working to bring broadband connectivity.
Perfect. And can you talk about the partnerships that it took to bring this project through the implementation and completion phases, and why having 4 different organizations involved was integral to the project's success?
Well, at Fresno Housing, partnership is our middle name. Everything that we do involves connecting and collaborating with other organizations. And this project was no different. Our digital inclusion network team, the United Way, the Central Valley Community Foundation, all of that, first of all, that was integral in getting the funding to be able to do that. And then working with our partners on the installation was absolutely essential. So we couldn't have done it on our own. This had to have a collaborative effort to bring to fruition.
Perfect, thank you. The new fiber network offers more than 350 residents living in the public housing complex free high-speed internet access. What type of impact does that have on folks' daily lives? How have residents responded to the project so far?
Well, having access to broadband is just like having access to electricity. It's like having access to water. We view it as an essential utility for life and prosperity. And so to be able to have our residents connect to that, what we've seen is as soon as the connections are made and we notify them, the number of connections which our IT team can calculate and monitor has just continued to increase on a daily basis. So the word is spreading, people are connecting, and they're using it. So that's the whole goal.
Yep. Thank you so much. This project's success is closely tied to the cross-sector partnerships that CVCF helped establish. How does CVCF bring like-minded groups together to support these kinds of digital equity initiatives?
Yeah, so CVCF really values collaborative work and partnerships, and they love identifying folks that are doing work that they're passionate about and bring them together to solve big problems and find solutions that are going to be sustainable and help move the work forward. And so we know that one person can't do this, and it takes a lot of people from different sectors and different areas with different strengths to come together and find solutions that are going to work.
Perfect. And can you tell us what the S2J2 plan is and how this project connects to the broader efforts regionally?
Yeah, so S2J2, when at the very early stages, when folks were coming together to identify our priority areas for this region, that what is it going to take for this region to create economic mobility and opportunities and equity across the region, some different priority areas bubbled up to the surface, and one of them was broadband. And so we recognize that broadband is essential for this region to have the resources it needs to thrive and be well. And so we see that there is a need for broadband access and equity in areas for jobs and for education and for healthcare. People can't access resources that they need without sustainable solutions in this area. And so when we identified broadband, we brought together folks that were like-minded and that knew and valued this asset. And so they developed a regional plan in a chapter in our regional plan around broadband and came up with solutions that they came up with a plan and a solution for seeing this priority area thrive for the future of the region. I don't know if that made any sense.
We'll take little bits and pieces.
Yeah, I was like,
Don't worry.
And I'm not an expert in the areas. I'm like, brought people together. We helped plan it.
That stuff's so important. So that's perfect. Yeah, we'll be able to, don't worry, we'll Frankenstein pieces together.
You're like,
So
we care about partnerships. We care about bringing people together. And we get really excited about that. We get really excited about the collaboration and seeing people in their expert areas thrive and or bring their best foot forward and saying like, connect this person is doing this work over here. And now we've created a blueprint here, so we know who needs to be contacted, who needs to be at the table. And so when we want to see projects like this happen throughout the region, having this ribbon cutting today and seeing this project be successful, it allows us to like imagine this happening in other places and really making it.
Absolutely. The replicability here is so important. Yeah. Cool. Thank you.
Awesome.
The COVID-19 pandemic highlighted the importance of digital equity and accelerated efforts to expand access. Yet many barriers remain. From your perspective, what work still needs to be prioritized to ensure every resident in the Central Valley has access to the digital world?
Well, what we know is that broadband access is kind of everybody's problem and nobody's problem at the same time, right? Everybody's needs access, but digital equity ecosystem is very limited. There's a very limited funding to support access, but really when it boils down to what do we need to do to get people connected, it's all about affordability. Affordability is the biggest barrier to internet access. That's why projects like this here at Sequoia Courts, where it's free, that's how you get 100% adoption. Everything is about affordability. We still need to build fiber into places where there isn't, but when it gets there, people need to be able to afford it.
Perfect. And can you talk about the partnerships that it took to bring this project through the implementation and completion phases, and why having 4 different organizations involved was so integral to the project's success?
Well, every organization has different strengths and different things that they are uniquely situated to do. Fresno Housing was a willing, engaged, and enthusiastic landlord. That was critical. You couldn't do that without them. CVCF and United Way, helping with grant writing and pulling coalitions together, uniquely situated in our ecosystem here to do that. FCDI, we were here for technical support, figuring out what needed to be done from an engineering perspective and pulling that together. None of us could have done this alone.
Perfect. And bringing a project like this to fruition is no small feat. What made it difficult to advance, and how did you address those challenges? And then on top of that, what are lessons learned that can help inform similar broadband infrastructure projects across the Central Valley?
We had a lot of technical challenges. This project was 17 acres, about 70 buildings. That represents 350 families. But we had 3 public road crossings we had to get across. We had all sorts of construction challenges. We had tight grant timelines. From a technical perspective, this was a very difficult project to do. The partnerships that help make that work and why we're in this is about building capacity in the region, about building capacity inside the technical teams of Fresno Housing, about understanding the problems in the grant programs that need reform, telling those stories to legislators, telling those stories to regulators. There's a lot of work yet to do on regulatory reform, but there's also a lot of work to do around capacity building to get projects like this ready for shovels. And we'll continue that work.
Perfect. And how do you go about replicating a project like this so it can reach residents in other cities and counties?
Well, there's probably 10 more projects that we need to do just like this right here in West Fresno. There's probably 100 like this that need to be done in Fresno County. It's working with engaged landlords that are ready for it and understand that they can stretch their mission just a little bit further, that becoming an internet service provider is not scary. It's a relatively straightforward thing to do. We can develop kind of templates for how this works and build more of an ecosystem to support folks as we move forward. I look forward to doing projects like this in mobile homes and other types of low-income housing that is all over our region is critical.